today is the day I am finally doing my 2025 updated apartment tour, and I'm going to start by making matcha and kind of walking you through what we're going to be doing today. If you are new, hi, I am Millie with Millie's Vines. I'm so happy to have you here. This is a great video to tune into because I have quite the collection. I have so much new stuff to show you guys and I'm super excited. So let's make our matcha and we'll kind of walk through the game plan for today. I think my plan for this video is I'm gonna break it into two parts because the last time I did this video, it was over an hour long. And while I know some of you guys might bear through a video of that length, I just don't want to do that to y'all. I want to make it a little bit more digestible. I'm going to do my indoor collection and then my outdoor collection will be the part two. I would say make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss that because my outdoor collection, I'm not saying I prefer it, but I'm saying that there's a lot of gems in there and I don't want you guys to miss that part. I'm not going to go super in depth with each and every plant. I will make sure to have the names of each plant listed for you guys. If you guys have any plants that you want me to go more in depth on, do care videos on, anything like that, as always, please leave it below. I would love to do videos on any plant in my collection. In preparation for this video, I watched a couple other YouTubers just to see what's in their collection and I don't know, just to get a feel for the tours that are out there. And what I will say is my collection is more so like hardy and durable. You're not going to see a lot of plants that require high humidity or extreme care. Most of my stuff is pretty well tempered and I would say definitely beginner friendly, except there's a few, and I'll mention them, maybe more like specialty cacti that require a little bit more experience. But for the majority, you'll find my collection is really drought tolerant. It's a collection that is okay going through a little bit of neglect. I just don't want to have a collection anymore that stresses me out. So I did want to put a little PSA out there. We have our matcha and let's go ahead and get into it. Here we are in the main attraction, my living room. This is where 60-ish% of my plants are. We have a southwest exposure and we've got Soltech lights up top. So you really can't get much more light than is happening in this room right now. So let's get into it and let's show you what is new in my collection. I am always changing, rearranging. I'm obsessed with plant styling. So I think it'll be really fun to kind of compare this to last year, but let's get into it. We will start right here. This is my Philodendron Brazil. This is probably the lowest light spot that I have in my living room and she is doing really good. I actually have kind of just wrapped her around, like I've taken the length of the plant and I've just sat it on top in hopes that she will start to root a little bit more. She's a pretty old plant. I've had her for probably like 4 years, doing good in this spot. I've got some propagations here. I've got some Paradoxa cuttings that I am trying to root up and give to friends. So far, so good. I've got pretty good roots on here. And then I've got a, oh my gosh, my Cynantium. My Cynantium is officially rooting and that is so exciting. So just a hodgepodge of things in here. Believe it or not, this is a, oh my gosh, well, I'm blanking on this. This is a Syndapsis. It's a variegated. I'm totally blanking on this. Obviously it has no variegation, so I might just throw these out, but yeah, this is all of my propagations that I'm waiting to do things with. Over here, this is where my pride and joy is. If you guys have been following me on YouTube, I have done a video all about this plant. I got it in New Jersey and I flew it back here from Arizona. This is a Ripsalis Paradoxa and I will never be over owning this plant, especially in this magnitude. I mean, it's dense, it's lush, it's long. I've got it right next to my humidifier since this is more of a jungle cactus. This was my #1 wish list plant for all of 2025. It took me quite some time to find her. I mean, it literally took me booking a 5-hour flight to get her, but she is wonderful, phenomenal, and I love her so, so much. Over here, we have my Syndapsis. So this guy's a little bit thirsty. I keep on underwatering it, so not in the best condition. This is usually a sign of underwatering or having water that is a little bit too hard, so I could do better with this plant. But Syndapsis Moonlight, I love this. It is one of my favorite varieties. Here I have the Syndapsis Platinum Cloud, I think. This is a pot that I got from Pueblo. It's one of my favorite plant shops in Phoenix. It's amazing. It's like a clay terracotta, and I have been switching over my Syndapsis to something that holds a little bit more moisture. The terracotta situation is not something I would recommend for them, so it's a work in progress, but I have found that this guy is so much happier in something that's a little bit more ceramic-like and holds more water. Over here, we have my plant shelf. Starting at the top, we have a Spiritus Sancti, a Philodendron Spiritus Sancti. I know it is not very impressive. I did repot this guy and it has kind of rebelled and given me some small leaves. I don't bother with the moss pole anymore. That is something that you won't see in my collection. I'm not a moss pole girly. I cannot upkeep it. I don't want to upkeep it. So we're gonna see how she grows without that. I love this plant. This was a wish list plant, but she's not, I don't know. I love her. She needs time, and we'll check back in with her in a year. But I do love the pot. She's getting great lighting. So that's up. Here we've got a little Hoya section. We've got my Hoya linearis, which also was a wish list plant as of last year. I think I finally acquired this one. It has grown like a weed. This is such an easy Hoya. It's so unique. It's beautiful. It's really velvety, and honestly, it's one of my favorite plants in my collection. I think it always will be. It is just so beautiful. The Hoya pollinea right here, I love as well. This started off as one vine. This is the original vine, and I have propagated it and plopped it back into the pot. So eventually I hope to have a really big bushy pollinea, but it's gonna take some time, but she's not doing too bad. And these are both super easy Hoyas. Here I've got all of my plant books, well, some of my plant books, so I try to be intentional with my decor. Right here we have another Hoya. This is my Hoya Cronii Super Silver, I believe. This guy, if you want a Hoya that blooms all the time, this is for sure the one that you need. This guy just bloomed but dropped its flowers. This guy bloomed as well. This probably has bloomed for me like 14 times since I've had it, and it's been only a couple years, so could not recommend this plant more. Some people have issues with this rotting or just having like super soft mushy leaves. I haven't had any issues, to be honest, so I can't speak on that. I've loved it and it blooms all the time, so it is nice and exciting. Here we have another Syndapsis. I love Syndapsis. I love Hoya. You will see that throughout my collection. This is, I am blanking on what this is. I think it's a Syndapsis Silver Lady, and it might not look so different from the Exotica unless you're comparing it. This one just has so much more silver, and I honestly think the leaf silhouette is a little bit different. I've got it in a ceramic pot because I just find that they, again, are much happier in those than in terracotta. I love Syndapsis. I think they grow amazingly. They are more thirsty plants, so you kind of have to stay up on the watering, but this plant is gorgeous, and I got it from Steve's Leaves maybe like a month or two ago, so really happy to have this in my collection. All right, here we have got my yucca tree. So this was a Facebook Market find. Now I know y'all are so distracted by these baby sprouts, and so am I, because what the heck is going on here? I don't know if I need to intervene. I don't know what to do, to be honest. So for now, I'm just leaving it alone. But I got this for $35, had to drive for it, had to figure out how to get it in my car, and it's been going through a little bit of a rehab, but all of these are new leaves. We've got like 4 new leaves here. So I think she's thriving. This guy is the only one that's a little bit questionable. We're having some weird tip issues, but it's okay. All of the other 3 sprouts are growing really well, and I mean, I don't know, she's definitely growing. So I wasn't really expecting to have a lot of these like baby shoots. I was kind of hoping that we got more overall growth at the top, but that is not her plan. So I'm just here to support her as best as I can. I'm thinking in 2 to 3 years, this guy will look absolutely insane. So I'm just gonna let her be and, like I said, support her along the way. But I have a vision for this, which I'll show my inspo for. I just wanted a really large tree that's kind of wonky and has a weird growth structure, and this checked off all the boxes. It's unheard of to get a plant this big for 35 bucks. Now we have my central table here. It is a mirror tabletop, so it's kind of hard to film here, but we have my Dioun Adul here, which I know is not looking great. I've got 1 good leaf, and These are, I mean, I guess they're dying off. And this was, again, a wishlist plant. I got to drive to Tucson for this guy, and I'm not sure what's happening. I thought that I overwatered it. I'm not sure why my camera isn't focusing, but I thought I overwatered it because this portion was feeling a little bit soft, but I'm not sure. She's not doing well, and I'm pretty sad about it, to be honest. So I'm kind of like disassociating with the state that she is in, but it's a cycad. I feel like sometimes they can be finicky indoors, but being in Arizona, it's tough to have things outdoors because it's just so hot and the sun is just so different here. So if anyone has any recommendations as to what might be going on here, definitely let me know. She's still stiff, so I'm just not sure. I'm very sad about it. I might have to drive back to Tucson and get 1 or 2 more just to try my hand at it again. I've had her for a couple years now, so this is pretty sad, but I love this plant. It is absolutely beautiful. Here we have my Rhipsalises. So I think I have not mentioned, no, I did. Rhipsalis, Hoya, and Syndapsis are definitely the genus that I love the most. I will put up the names of each of these down below. I think this is a Rhipsalis monothea or something like that. Really cool. It's grown a lot for me. Rhipsalis do flower. I have not experienced that yet, and once I do, it will really be just game over for me because I'm already obsessed with them without the flowers. I will insert the name of this one as well. I love the pot that it's in. This is just, I mean, it's so wonky. Like I am so obsessed with her. They're so easy to grow. They are considered a cacti, but the most important part of that is they're a jungle cacti. So they actually do prefer more humidity, more water, but they're super easy. And I just love anything with a more odd growth structure. Coming over to this corner here, I have a Peperomia Hope, which I love. Some people have difficulties growing this plant because it can grow a little bit wonky, but I haven't had any issues with that. She actually needs a haircut. I don't know if you can tell how long she is. I need to just chop her and regrow her, but I have the easiest time with this plant. Peperomias can be a little bit more on the thirsty side, but they are a good option if you have dogs or cats or kids. I believe that they are non-toxic, so kind of keep that in mind, but I water this one when the leaves get a little bit squishy, and I try to stay on it, otherwise the leaves will drop. So super easy plant. It is also in one of these pots, kind of like my Rhipsalis here. I thrifted these and I absolutely love them. This is the variegated Syndapsis that I'm blanking on the name. It's completely lost its variegation, and to be honest, I am ready to rehome her. But that's okay. We're going to give her a little bit longer to make a comeback. This is another pot that I've gotten from Pueblo. They have the coolest ceramic pots. Again, this being Syndapsis, I try to avoid terracotta for it. I also have a similar pot from Pueblo here. They go really well together and I love them. They have drip trays that are built in, and they're some of my favorite pots in my collection. Okay, here we have another crazy boy. This is a Salinicarius, I believe. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but this is one of those midnight blooming cacti. We have some crazy aerial roots going on here, and didn't have it like, it wasn't quite like this when I first got it. So the vibe with the aerial roots is not necessarily what I was going for, but I respect her nonetheless, and she's super cool. Maybe one day she will bloom for me. Really easy plant. I feel like the care is pretty similar to Rhipsalis. Yeah, she's a cool one. It's just, I think she looks a little bit odd right now because this stuff isn't quite necessarily like draping over. It's still in like a standing up era, and that makes it a quite interesting presence, but that's okay. I've got her in this like lime washed, whitewashed terracotta pot that is really tall, and I think it's really, really pretty. Over here is kind of my bigger plants in my collection. This is my Monstera that has been with me since 2021. And she is gigantic. This is her newest leaf. She's sized up tremendously from her last leaf, so I am really, really happy about that. I have gone through severe leaf burn with her. I've gone through underwatering with her. I mean, you name it, I have learned on this plant. So she might only have 3 leaves, but I'll show you what she started from. And I'm really bonded to her. She is one of those plants that I really have a deep connection with and like just means a lot to me sentimentally. So I love her and I appreciate her for sticking around with me. Over here we have a philodendron yuppie eye. I love this plant. I got this for like $75 a couple years ago. I love her in this wash pot. I love her on this table. Also, if you have not read this book, this is amazing. If you are new to cacti and succulents or just want to know more, it is like almost like an encyclopedia for cacti and succulent varieties. The back is literally a glossary for different types of plants, and it is tremendous. So, oops, I cannot recommend that book more. And it's also super aesthetic. So really cool pictures in there and just great inspiration. Over here, we have my jungle boogie. I love this plant. This is such an easy plant, such a forgiving plant. I think the only downside that I have and some other people have with these larger self-heading, I think that's what you call it, philodendrons, is they just get really big and they take up a lot of space. So it gets to a point sometimes where you just can't have them in your collection anymore, or they have to be in a standalone corner by themselves. But honestly, I don't think that's the worst thing that could happen. I don't know if she's working on a bloom or what's happening there. She has bloomed for me before too. Super cool plant. I cannot recommend that enough. And then here, this is probably one of the first plants that I had in my collection. This is a philodendron, Xanadu. She also has been very forgiving and has learned a lot with me. I love her in this larger wash pot, and I just find that she is such a good floor plant, and I feel like if I found this in the wild, she probably would be like on the ground floor as well. And I think she's happy here. It's pretty shaded and she just fills out the space really, really well. Last but not least, we have my philodendron Prince of Orange. This is one of the oldest plants in my collection. I have had this thing for 4 or 5 years now, and it is gorgeous. It's wonderful. She has 2 separate pieces and she's getting a little large. This plant is one of the easiest in my collections and I just love her so much. She fills up this table so well and I just appreciate her. She's so easy. Sometimes she gets underwatered. She bounces back every time and I don't have enough good things to say about her. She is a nice statement piece if you want some color in your collection and never had pest issues. She is just so happy to be here. All right, so now we're here in the bedroom. My bedroom doesn't have a ton of plants, and honestly, I kind of want to keep it that way. I don't like to be too overstimulated in my bedroom, so we've only got like less than 10 plants in here. Also, I got new bedding recently, and I think it's so cute. It's so neutral. It still has like that pistachio green undertone in the bedding, but I love it. I also thrifted that green and that gold pot, and I think they look really cool over there. And I thrifted that incense holder, so love those little touches. If you guys watched my last plant tour around this time last year, not much has changed here. This is my Hoya table. I have grow lights that I turn on here after the sun has gone down, so they get tons and tons of sun. I'm not going to talk in depth about these too much because a lot of these are pretty basic, but this is a Hoya Waieti. It's got kind of like darker rimming around the edges of the leaves. Really cool, nice when they cascade. Here we have a variegated Hindu rope. I'm blanking on the actual like scientific name and I don't know why that's happening, but this is a plant that my non-plant lover friends love every single time they come over. People are obsessed with this. Grows really slow, can be a little bit difficult, but it's okay. In like 6 years, maybe we'll be, you know, a couple inches longer. You got to be in for the long haul with this one, but I love her. Super unique. This is a Hoya Waieti tricolor, so very similar to this, just a little bit more color. She has finally started growing a little bit more for me. Again, same thing with this guy over here. They look really nice when they are a trailing hanging basket, but being a Hoya, it can take a little bit longer for it to get to that point. Here we have a Hoya Callistophylla, I believe. This is really cool. I love the darker veination. This one is a prolific bloomer, like prolific, which I was not expecting. We've got 2 prior peduncles here and it just blooms all the time. Really cool flowers. I will insert what they look like. This is a Hoya Crimson Queen, I believe. Don't quote me on this, guys. I have not like actually walked through my plants and like name them like this in so long, but I think that's correct. This one I originally got in La Jolla, and it was actually in like a kokedama, but I took it out because it was just kokedama and Arizona just don't mix, but she's grown really, really well. This leaf is giant. And yeah, that is my Hoya table. Okay, this plant is probably one of my most controversial purchases that I have ever received. When I shared this on TikTok, people were literally losing their minds, but this is a Cynantium. I'm not going to attempt saying the second part of that name, but this genus is actually closely related to Hoyas. I think it's found in either Bolivia or Madagascar. I'm blanking on which one it is, but it's actually really colorful in the right lighting. It's like pink, purple, green, and it's got really, really cool flowers. It's kind of hard for me to show you this plant, but I love it, and it can take really intense conditions. It doesn't need a lot of water. It doesn't need a lot of light, and I just think it is amazing. So this is actually one of the other plants that I brought back from New Jersey most recently with the Paradoxa. So you can imagine bringing back both of those plants was quite an experience to get through TSA, but it is so cool. It's grown really long. It is super easy to care for as long as it gets enough light and as long as you don't overwater it. All right, here we have a window that is west exposure. So what I will say is I've got Amicans here, and as much as I love Amicans, I don't know. I don't know if other people are kind of feeling like this too, but when it comes to hanging plants, I just want plants that can withstand harsher conditions and less water. So the Cynantium and this Hoya right here definitely fit that criteria, but the Micans is just a little too temperamental and too thirsty of a plant for this to be compatible for me long term. But she grows a ton. I literally chopped her probably like up to here recently, and she's already shot off new growth. I mean, she's kind of almost to the floor, so she's great. I just don't like hanging plants that are needy when it comes to watering because I am lazy. This is my Hoya Crimson Princess, I believe. This guy has grown like a beast. I got it kind of large, but it's definitely doubled in size over the past couple years. This is a great hanging plant to have because it doesn't need as much water as something like a philodendron micans, and it just adds so much color. I love her. She's just a beast. That's all I know to say about her, honestly. No, she has not bloomed for me, which is unfortunate, but she is so pretty, and I will just forever and always be such a Hoya fan. Now, I said that I was gonna make this a two-part video, so I'm gonna stick to that, and that is really hard because I so badly want to show you what we are working with outside, but I'm gonna stick to what I said, and we're gonna make this a two-parter. So if you're interested, please, please, please subscribe so you do not miss when I drop this second part next week. I cannot wait to see you there. Until then, let me know what you think of my collection. Let me know what stood out to you. Let me know who you think the weirdest plant was out of all of them, and let me know if you have any tips, tricks, or if you want to hear more about any of them. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you in my outdoor tour next week. Bye, guys.